This is James Carville apparently talking to himself. Maybe he's on a Zoom call. Maybe he's on an interview for a podcast or TV show. This clip just kind of surfaced on Twitter.
I was under the impression he dropped it on social media somewhere, but we can only
Maybe.
speculate.
Yeah, who knows? This got around, but I don't know the source. There's no logo or chyron on the screen. But here's James Carville giving young people a hard time for not falling in line behind Joe Biden. The polls tightened for a little while there. Last big poll that came out, I think it was New York Times Siena poll, had Trump +6 and up in all the swing states. So, some more bad news for the Biden campaign. And here's James Carville really turning on the charm to young people. This is probably his most unhinged video yet, and that's saying something because he has set a high bar for himself. But here he is.
Kidding me? Is this the United States of America? Is this the nation that was founded on the principle that no person is above the law? And then you tell these young people, if you don't get involved right now in this election, they're going to be involved in your life for the rest of your freaking life. And if Trump and Roberts and Alito and Gorsuch and Thomas and Leonard Leo and the Heritage Foundation, if they get a hold, there will be no government left. There will be no rights left. You'll live under theocracy. You'll end up with Christian nationalism. But that's all right, you little fucking 26-year-old. You don't.
This gets even better. We're only halfway through. This gets even more fun. I'll tell this to James Carville, though, because maybe this will help you kind of figure out where the country's at, where a lot of younger people are at, and how much people really don't give a shit what people like you think.
I mean, if they ever reboot Popeye, he's a shoo-in.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got to work out a little bit. He's probably a little skinny for Popeye. Popeye,
they'll CGI the forearms.
CGI the muscles in. But I'll tell James Carville this. I would happily surrender all my rights if I could take yours with me. Like, that's how much I dislike you. Like, if they need someone to go to the labor camps with James Carville and spend the rest of their life doing forced labor for no wages, I'll volunteer to go with you just because I know it'll hurt you. That's how much I can't stand you. So, like, if all of us have to lose our rights, that's a bargain I'm willing to make as long as you lose yours, right? I will happily go down on the ship with you if I can get the satisfaction of taking you down.
And I think
so. Now it all makes sense, right? I don't care.
Well, you've just described the thinking of a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Like, what do I care? Yeah. What are you threatening me with?
I don't care if the nation goes up in flames as long as I can watch Mika lose her shit on Morning Joe.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not real. Like, when the country falls past a certain point, people feel like they have nothing to lose. Right. And watching you guys cope and seethe is worth it. Worth whatever negative consequence there is. Because as we've learned these past 3.5 years, the consequences aren't really any less negative with you guys in charge. The only difference is you guys are smug, condescending, holier than thou assholes when Joe Biden is in there thinking, what? Inflation has slowed down, so why don't you just, get over it or whatever? We saw Carville, Paul Krugman, right? Like, when Democrats are in power, you lecture everybody about how good they have it, even though it's no better than when Donald Trump is in power. When Trump is in power, you guys melt down and it's fun to watch like this. Right. Like, this is a lot of fun. And it's about to get even more fun.
Right, and in the end, you can't bow down and compromise with the other side fast enough. You love that shit, right? Come on, man. You tried to cut a deal on Social Security, right? I mean, you wanted to work with the Republicans on that. They torched it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's we got the second half of this. This gets even better.
But that's all right, you little fucking 26-year-old. You don't feel like the election's important to me. They're not addressing the issues that I care about. Well, the New York Times story about the Harvard Youth Poll, which is a pretty good, well-regarded thing, a guy named John Della Volpe. And very recently, they gave youngsters the 15 most important issues. Clocking in at number 14 was student debt. You wouldn't know that if you read the fucking press. Number 15 was the issue of Palestine. High on the list was abortion, was interest rates, was housing affordability, were all of these other things. You are being insufficiently served by the commentariat, and to some extent, you're being insufficiently served through democratic messages.
Okay, so while we're on this question, I did a little bit of digging into this Harvard Youth poll to see what that's all about, right? Because he says Palestine's last on the list, along with student debt. Now, assuming this is what he's talking about, and like I said, I just researched this morning, but this is the latest Harvard Youth poll. They do this weird aggregate of how the issues rank in terms of importance. And so we identified 16 prominent areas of concern and asked survey respondents in a series of randomized matchups which of the two paired issues was more important to them, which is a very strange methodology.
That's a weird way to do it. Yeah.
Very weird way to do it. Again, we found that economic concerns were viewed as more prominent. Inflation, healthcare, housing, and jobs won most matchups regardless of what they were paired against. So in other words, they'll ask, okay, what's more important, jobs or crime? So in that case, 53% say jobs, 47% say crime. Now, Israel-Palestine is down here, 34%, which is relatively low. But that's not to say only 34% feel it's important. It's saying a third of people will choose Israel-Palestine over a random other issue, which again,
it's a very weird way to conduct a poll.
I don't even know why you would conduct it that way. And don't forget, these are not just
to get this result. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. And these are not just young Democrats. There are independents. There are Republicans who care a lot less about this, who are asked about this issue as well. It doesn't necessarily tell you how they feel one way or another. So Israel-Palestine has a 37% rating among Democrats, 32% amongst Republicans. The Republicans are more likely to feel that they're most likely, those are like the diehard Zionists who are like, this is the top.
Exactly.
So this poll really doesn't say, unless there's some other part of it that I'm missing, but I looked through it, and this is, from what I could tell, what he was referencing. This doesn't say what he says it said, which is that Israel-Palestine and student debt don't matter to people, right? That's a very different thing to say, because obviously inflation is likely to trump everything. What have we said this whole time? Inflation, immigration, those are going to be the top two issues no matter what amongst the general population. But their problem now is not with the general population. Their problem now is with their base of Democratic voters who are appalled by Biden's handling of this Israel-Palestine issue. So I just wanted to show that. But here's the cherry on top.
Well, all of these other things, you are being insufficiently served by the commentariat, and to some extent, you're being insufficiently served through democratic messages. So my advice to tell these young people to get off your motherfucking ass and go vote, because you should vote like your entire future and the entire future of this United States depends on it, because quite frankly, it does. By the combating messages. So my advice to tell these young people to get off your motherfucking ass and go vote, because you should vote like your entire future and the entire future of this United States depends on it.
When I was
growing up, if you didn't vote, we had a special kind of cayenne pepper. We give you an enema in the back. My grandma would take you out back in the shed. She'd give you the cayenne pepper enema. She'd say, "I'll teach you not to vote next time, motherfucker."
She shoved a cayenne pepper up my motherfucking ass, and that got me out to the polls.
That got me out to the polls. That's what made me a professional in politics. I said, if somebody gonna give you a cayenne pepper enema, I guess this shit's important, ain't it?
Nothing puts a pep in your step like a pepper up your asshole. That's a Carville family tradition. Wow. What a guy. When you get off your motherfucking ass to protest genocide, you have to sit back down on your motherfucking ass, right? Then they don't want you off your ass.
When you drag that AIPAC money through a trailer park, you find all kinds of things.
Oh, man. That's a total meltdown. I mean, you saw in the middle of that. We don't care about the issues. Oh, you don't care about what issues are important to us. Here he
It's
is.
important to me. They're not addressing the issues that I care about. Well, the New York Times, Harvard.
Oh, what a guy! What a guy! See, it's so fun. Like watching these people panic is just so much fun. Like this is the best payoff in politics there is. Like if you vote for Donald Trump, and I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump because he's an Israel ball licker as well, and I can't go there, right? Just in principle. But the payoff is so much more concrete, and it's guaranteed. The payoff of voting for Trump is you get to watch these people put on shows like that, right?
You're at least going to get to see the aristocrats have a meltdown,
right? And you know it. That's a guarantee when you vote for Trump. When you vote for Democrat, nothing's a guarantee. They say we're going to do public option, no mention of it, none ever. Oh, we're going to raise the minimum wage. Oh, the parliamentarians said no. Oh, we're anti-racist except when Israel wants to genocide a bunch of brown people. Right. You never know what you're getting.
In the end, you are just a horse to them that they want to saddle up to elevate themselves and ride you to power. That's what voters are for them. They are offended when the other side is in power because it offends their aesthetics. Look at what he's saying. Oh, they are not for the issues I care about because, they're fucking rich, man. It doesn't matter what they do with abortion or anything else. It doesn't matter for them. They'll just they can have whatever they want, no matter what. Politics is completely an abstraction and an aesthetic exercise for someone like James Carville and for their entire class. They tell you have to do this so that we'll protect you from the Republicans. Well, you had decades to codify Roe v. Wade, but you didn't do it because it was a useful fucking issue for you. So even on the levels that you say you need us to protect you from them, no, we don't. Exactly. You had your chance. You didn't do that. So why would people vote for you? And that's the elephant in the room they don't want to address.
Yeah. And like Russell said, nothing is actually at stake for these people, and nothing is at stake for the people who take them seriously either. It's all an abstraction. It's all about how they feel about the world. And their just stunning ability to turn their conscience, quote unquote, off when it comes to certain issues. Like how could you even make an argument like this, given what's going on right now? Not just in Israel, Gaza, but, we were going to do this story today. We're going to do it tomorrow since the occupation at Colombia came up. It bounced it out. But Ukraine is having recruitment problems. They're changing their passport laws so that Ukrainians who are living abroad have to come home and go into this meat grinder. Like a huge part of the Biden legacy is going to be the decimation of Ukraine and of the people of Ukraine. So for all their flag waving, they are the enemies of Ukraine, as I see it. As I see it, I'm a much stronger advocate for the ordinary people of Ukraine than Joe Biden is. But, they are completely upside down on that. Gaza just gets
I love the
memory
Ukrainian
hold or
people
whatever,
so much. I got a Ukrainian living in my house.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
He's occupying my Donbass, as I like to say.
He's in the east wing of the house. Yeah,
exactly. He is actually. He's in the north. He's in the north of the house. Yeah. He's occupying the north.
Yeah. No, but I mean, they just go on these self-righteous rants like that, and the things that matter to them are things that matter to nobody else. Howard Stern, I don't understand how the end of the debate is find me 11,000 votes. Like, nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody gives a shit about January 6th. These are top-of-mind issues for such a tiny sliver of the population, to the point where it's not even, they're not even a statistically measurable part of the overall population. They are a statistically...
Yeah, why don't they do that poll?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Where's January 6th on that poll? How many young people
care about January 6th?
Where's the litigation of the 2020 vote? On that poll. Right, exactly. Yeah, nowhere. And so you can't even say this is a tiny sliver of the population. I mean, as a percentage of the population overall, they are statistically zero. They're a tiny sliver of, I won't say a tiny sliver, but there are a small percentage of people who watch MSNBC, right? Like that's where it's measurable. That's where the concern for that is actually measurable, So yeah, it's just that's how you get that. But that is quite the sight to see.
But I will say that even this is wearing thin for all but the most diehard members of the liberal class, because if you do watch social media, the only people I see doing the fucking orange man bad bullshit, they're mostly really lonely old people who have nothing to look forward to other than someone liking the meme that they share. There's very few people getting into that.
Oh yeah,
with Genocide
well that's why I'm saying
Joe.
it's not even a big part of the MSNBC audience anymore. This is just like the diehard of the diehard. Yeah.
Please clap.